Time out with Tim O.
Open up your mind and let me in. Open up your mind and let me in. Open up your mind and let me in.
Hello, welcome to Time Out with Tim O. I'm your host, Tim Owens. As always, very grateful and happy to be here today. Now, I don't want to come off as if I'm beating the dead horse, as the saying goes. But however, I have to say this. About 2 weeks ago, I was called out by an old friend of mine back home for a post that she put on Facebook and I believe both Instagram. It was a chart about how men and women should treat each other. Well, if a person does this and that and blah, blah, blah. Same old, right? Now, without disclosing any of our personal business, let's just say she's been married more than once, all right? Now, I'm not trying to offend anybody by no means, but however, the truth must be said. Now, I think the reason being, and I don't like to use the word think, because when you say think, people like to say, oh, the infamous, that's just your opinion. But let's put it this way. Let me change that. I know for a fact the reason why she keeps having the same issues and other people like her keep having the same problems because they keep repeating the same thing over and over again. Now, there's a YouTube personality, podcaster who goes by the name The Angry Man. I would love to show a clip of his show, but I don't want to get a copyright strike. But I have to say, if you want to go to his channel, check him out. I have no problem shouting him out, giving him his props. He goes by the name The Angry Man. Very smart guy. Is his delivery, can it be a little brash? Absolutely. But the message is the message. Sometimes, hey, cough syrup don't always taste good, but you get the result you need, you got to take it. I remember being a kid, my dad would say, hold your mouth open. He'd grab your mouth, open it up, and put the spoon in it and make you take it. Sometimes you got to shut up and take the medicine. So I myself love to hear when someone has the same thought process that I have or says something similar to what I've said or I thought. It's almost like when you're a person like myself who think outside of the box, who normally sees the bigger picture, and you have to use words and scenarios and examples to relate to people on their level. Now, that's not saying that a person has some sort of deficiency, mental deficiency. That's not it. I made the statement a few days ago. I said that sometimes you have to explain something or to deliver a message to someone in the way that you want them to perceive it to get the outcome from them that you want. Let me say it again. Sometimes you have to think and come up with a way to explain something to someone to get the outcome or response that you want from them. It's not about manipulation. I myself have been guilty of explaining things to people or saying something in a way that I think they understand it, but they won't tell me they don't understand it or they don't fully comprehend what I'm talking about. They'll wait until days later or hours later and tell me how upset they were or how they didn't understand what I said, and it becomes a problem. Some people do this all the time. Now, let me go back and give you an example of what I'm talking about, okay? So, if I ask you to, hey, can you go to Walmart and pick me up A, B, and C, right? And you say, okay, no problem. When do you need it? And I say, by 6 o'clock. All right. Now, the way my mind works, I'm assuming that you know that I'm going to give you the money for these things. I take for granted that you know this already. You may have in your mind that I want you to spend money to pick up something for me that I never asked you to. Or you could be thinking that you're going to pay for it and I'm going to reimburse you. But the point is, there was no clarification there. But I automatically assumed that you knew if you agreed to pick up these goods for me, that I would give you the money for them, right? I've had people who have gotten upset over things like that because they assumed something. Now I get it. People are going to say, "Well, that's what you get for assuming." That's what people that happens, but you're not getting you're not letting me get to what I'm trying to say. It's okay to assume, but once it's clarified what the person needed or wanted, then that means that should be no more problem. But if you're still upset to the point to where it's an issue, you need to calm down. You need to check yourself. Get it together. Now, to what the angry man was talking about, and going back to my friend who I started this video talking about her life. He described, because I always say that people keep repeating the same things and doing the same things. They want a different result. Like sometimes a coach needs to go to a new team. They need a new playbook. They need fresh energy. They need just a new start, right? And people repeat the same repetitive relationship cycles. They just keep trying the same plays with the same people, and they keep getting the same result. So when a person comes along with a new idea or new approach, they're usually rejected. It normally takes for someone in a high position or someone with a lot of influence to say, "Hey, that guy's right. What he's saying makes sense." Then people will say, "Okay, let's look at it." Or they can be a complete idiot who has a lot of money. For some strange reason, people think that everyone with money is smart. There are a lot of complete idiots who have money. There are people who are way smarter than them who know that I can make money off this idiot, but I can give them money and they'll look successful, but they're really dumb. People are quick to follow an idiot with money. So the way the angry man explained, he said, relationships are like an airplane. When the plane takes off on the runway, it's going really fast. Once it takes off, gets in the air, once it reaches cruising altitude, it just kind of balances out and you have a smooth flight, right? That's how relationships are. I 100% agree with his analogy. Once it reaches cruising altitude, that's when people say, "It's boring. He doesn't take me out anymore. We don't do this anymore. We don't do that." When a relationship first starts, you have to put all this work into it, get it up and running. Just like the airplane, when it takes off, it takes a lot of effort. But once it's in the air, it's cruising. Once the relationship is established and you guys have built something, it reaches cruising altitude. You do things every once in a while. You don't go out every weekend. You don't do as many things as you used to. The same when the airplane is when it's cruising and you hit some turbulence. Every now and again, the captain announces, "We're going to experience some turbulence. Don't be alarmed. We're going to break out of it pretty soon." Same with the relationship. Hit a little turbulence. You readjust. You stay at cruising altitude. You go out a little bit here and there. You incorporate a couple of things, plan some weekends, some getaways, plan some nights out as a couple, stuff like that. Then you go back to cruising altitude. People are leaving their marriages and long-term relationships once they hit cruising altitude because it becomes boring to them. Not knowing that boring, as they say, and consistency, the same thing, building, wash, rinse, repeat. That's how it's supposed to go. How do you think people have 40-year, 50-year marriages, long-term relationships before marriages? They learn how to enjoy the cruising altitude. Does it make sense? I hope so, because I've tried to explain these things to people because I used to work in a relationship space. I left that alone a long time ago. I'm just doing my show here I do stand up. I enjoy doing that because it's fun to me. I don't want anything to do with the relationship space because people are too hard-headed. So I take the Jesus approach with this. He never explained himself to anybody. He said what he said. If you got his message, you got it. If you followed him, you followed him. If you didn't, you didn't. So we're supposed to be more Christ-like. Then that means we're supposed to say what we say. The ones that are supposed to get the message, they're going to get it. The ones that don't, they're just not going to get it. When you think like that, like I do, when it comes to that, way less headaches will you have, way less problem will you encounter. Because people in today's society, because of Google, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and all that, a lot of the people that we knew as children that were not very bright, they're able to come together and form a mob to troll you online, to tear you down, to join in a cult of stupidity and attack people who actually know what they're talking about. Their comprehension has never been great. I know people on Instagram and social media, period, who to this day cannot spell kangaroo. If you tell them to spell elephant, they may fall out and have a seizure because that's their level of intellect. So, as my friend who made that post, and I did comment on the post, and I put a picture of Pinocchio with his nose growing out. And she said, "Oh, Mr. Relationship Guy, why don't you agree?" Like I said, I'm explaining this video why I don't agree. I have a few other videos where I talked about why I don't agree. Period. So with that being said, I hope you guys got something from this video. It was one I really wanted to make. Check out the Angry Man podcast if you want some. You want to give into you the harsh, brash, unapologetic. I mean, I'm a fan of the guy. I think he does a great job, man. And I have no problem giving credit where credit is due. Shout out Angry Man. That was a great analogy you used with the airplane being relationships like an airplane reaching cruising altitude. Fantastic, my brother. It was fantastic. So if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so. I would greatly appreciate it. Anyone who want to reach out to me on social media, comment on my video, we can get more into this conversation. I love to do so. As always, happy people do not cause problems. Peace.
If everybody winning, who's losing? Man, who's losing? I'm trying to make it make sense. It's like it's so confusing. I see the pain in your eyes from all the lonely nights. I swear I know how I feel. It just don't feel right.